welcome Dr. Nayyar. Thank you.
Is continuously evolving such that Tosi Saab and many more, we remain all the time students to learn as much as possible. So I will be talking this topic which is probably very near and dear to everyone because it impacts our lives all the time. Energy and power policies in Pakistan, energy transition. These are the thoughts, not any particular presentation or direction or lecture, which is based on our research group's activity, which I will be sharing with you and seeking your feedback. So this is the outline of my presentation. We will be initially talking on energy and power policies of Pakistan, how these have evolved and how they have contributed to our lives in reality. And then we'll look at the potential of energy transition in Pakistan. It is out there, but there's a lot of potential which we will be discussing based on some of our research findings as well. So if you look at this diagram which we have conceived, economic growth is desirable for masses, by governments, for stakeholders, for everyone. And much of this depends on various parameters. Some of these key parameters I have surrounded this economic growth. And amongst all these parameters, if you talk about economic sustainability, human capital, new trends or technologies, or welfare or creating opportunities. Amongst all these, energy and conserving environment is very important, very crucial. They are somewhat source, they will cause change, and all the other parameters will be depending on this. Then if we talk about energy, it could be with us if we appropriately plan for it. For anything we need to plan. And planning energy means you need to take care of multiple energy carriers, data involved, technologies, look at the various trajectories, analyze them, use appropriate models, develop scenarios, alternatives, present before the decision makers, make up choices, decision, programs, plans, and implement them through effective regulation so that we should have economic growth, which is central focus for everyone. Over the 4 decades since the oil crisis of 1974, we have seen sufficient growth in energy planning, and globally these practices have been very much taken care of and adopted efficiently. We have seen some growth in power sector, energy and power sector since 1980s, and I will be showing you how these have contributed to our plans. Since 1960s, we are undertaking energy planning activities. Energy as a formal sector in Pakistan was recognized too late. Initial power projects also came as a result of water resource management. Agriculture was a priority, dams were established, developed, and we had hydropower resource development, which was very positive for the agriculture sector, and in addition it provided us excellent power for urban centers initially, and later on it moved towards other grid connected areas. Somehow in 90s, following the Afghan crisis, Russia-Afghan crisis, we have seen some marginal industrial development. Power was thought to be inevitable just next to the agriculture, and we had focus towards developing our power resources, and first our reforms and policies came during this era of 1990s. So during this early 1990s, with help of World Bank and other financing institutes, for the first ever time, these were the dreams, beautiful dreams. I have taken this from the World Bank report, and I wish all of these are somehow implemented today. These we have conceived our think tank with support from the World Bank and other financing institutes conceived, and all appear very valid till today. For example, integrated energy policy. Yes, we lack somehow over the. There are efforts I will be showing you, but effectively we are lacking on this context. Consolidating the fragmented energy governance. Governance is key challenge. Building capacity of regulator. Interestingly, while this was proposed in early 90s, we don't have regulator. Regulator came in 1997. NEPRA was established in 1997. Then we had forcing by them to deregulate the power sector, which we are attempting right now, attracting investment. This is always a concern. Make generation efficient. We have these issues. Reduce T&D losses is still top of the town. Hydro coal resource utilization. Right then in 1990s, probably third coal was first ever time discovered and even conceived in these reforms. More renewable and energy efficiency. So all these things which were conceived in 90s, early 90s, still holds very true. Then why we are lacking in the sector? This is very important. For any energy planning activity, as I have apprised in my earlier slide, energy planning studies are crucial, engineering studies are crucial, and we have seen these studies. It doesn't mean that we had not taken any care of these studies. We have witnessed a lot of engineering and planning studies with varying focus and various specialties involved in it. For example, first ever study which I can find in the literature was in 1967. This was with respect to development of Tarbela Dam. Power was also considered within it. This study period even goes up to 2037. Undertaken in 1967, its study period spans over 2037, particularly focusing on our hydro resources. Then we have a response model from USAID, NPIP study with help of International Atomic Energy Agency. We had National Power Plan study in 1994. This was the first ever indigenous study. Then we had Energy Security Action Plan. I won't say this was a study, rather a set of documents. Then we have a very good study, Pakistan Integrated Energy Model, PAK-IE. First ever time we had used Times Markle, a formal recognized energy modeling tool in Pakistan's power sector. Then we had VM 2024, most of you are already aware of. NTDC regularly takes various studies as per its scope and mandate, electricity demand forecast and electricity demand forecast on survey and regression analysis. We have another study in 2011. It was National Power System Expansion Plan, and recently we have IGK, which is still a valid study, and electricity plan of 2023, electricity policy and plan are conceived out of this study. So all of these studies, engineering studies, planning studies, we are probably half of the time is I need to move more fast. So all these 4 minutes are left. Okay. So still a lot of things to go. So all of these studies are practically used for energy policy formulation, but interestingly, all of these policies, the documents which we witness, somewhat reflect the study inputs, but mainly depends on other decision makers. I don't know who those are. Tusi Saab has been over the helm of affairs. He can tell us. So by the way, 1994 was our first energy policy, and 2024 we are 30 years since the first ever power policy we had. So the scenario before us is somewhat not encouraging. Just to look at these statistics. Energy consumption per capita, we are lowest 137. Energy consumption per GDP 124th rank. GDP purchasing power parity is 23, and somehow over the population we are number 5. So this is the share of energy, power generation, energy mix for the power generation. I like to focus over here this slide. If you look at this diagram, this tab carefully. If you look at these figures, in 1985 we had thermal share of energy 33%, idle share of 67%. And if you come over 2023, this is replaced by thermal share, and idle share has arrived at 28% and 6% renewable. So you can make your own judgment regarding these things. And then another interesting aspect of our efforts is, unfortunately, our maximum energy, electricity is consumed in the domestic sector, 47%. We need to diversify this towards industrial, agriculture, through efficient policies. Circular debt, everyone is aware of it. Right now we are around at a circular debt of 5 trillion, which is 5% of our GDP. Yes. So these are issues, governance. So let's move towards this is the evolving structure of Pakistan power sector, which is unstoppable. I wish we have once for all this evolves and we conclude somewhere. This is one of the reasons we are facing this crisis. So let's move towards transition. So this is all we have from last 30 years, 1994 until 2024. Now we have tested and tried with every technology, investments, resources, and the results are before us. We are still lacking on various important milestones. Energy transition is a chance, we should make it up, and globally it is recognized, and it can aid our sustainable development goals and climate action. It will bring decarbonization, digitalization, decentralization, and democratization. It will ensure deployment. It could be ensured with deployment of policies, integration of policies, enabling policies, structural changes, and international and specific focus on our resources. Internationalization. This is just a diagram from the International Renewable Energy Agency, which aims at net zero emission from the our energy sector, and if they are moving towards this direction, we can at least adopt ARA 2019 to ensure some emission reduction in us. One way forward, which is my recommendation, is adopting energy transition index proposed by World Economic Forum. It emphasizes working out our preparedness rather than going directly for the policy implementation. First of all, we need to evaluate and undertake appropriate planning studies, how much we are ready for energy transition, rather than having fluffy figures and other things. All these things needs to be avoided. So we need to go systematically and adopt the global practices which have been adopted by determining energy transition index, and it has multiple enabling dimensions which could be specifically worked out. So let me move towards all of these are the opportunities we have with respect to energy policy. Just one slide, which is our research findings to emphasize the energy transition potential in Pakistan. At this moment, Pakistan is consuming around 104 million tons of oil equivalent, Pakistan's total energy demand. And in one of our research projects, we have determined that Pakistan's total renewable energy potential is 3.7 million ton oil equivalent, which is 4 times, at least 3 times higher than our energy demands. Our tariffs are declining, the renewable tariffs are declining. We have multiple strengths, weaknesses, opportunity threats with respect to the energy transition. We need to address and work out these challenges appropriately. And if you ask me about the recommendations, we need to improve governance in the short run. We need to introduce and implement transmission expansion plan. We need to update and adjust all the time IGK with respect to electricity plan and energy plans which we have right now. And we need to implement religiously CTPMC, which is right now. And then we have certain recommendations with respect to medium to long term, which are this extension of short to medium term recommendations. So I will conclude my slide on these 2 points, that realizing energy transition potential requires a comprehensive action plan based on holistic approach, along with clear targets, timeline, continuity, regularity, clarity, and stakeholder engagement. Institutional capacity of energy-related government agencies, regulatory bodies, and research institutes needs to be enhanced to effectively manage the energy transition, and we can have this appropriately level. On this context, we at Mehran University Energy Environment Research Group are contributing at our own level through academic publication, presentations, think tank participation, and even the newspaper article publication, which I just show over here. So I thank you.
Thank you very much.